Gary called Jose.
I think we're gonna open up the garage
Yes.
door because it's cool.
Yep. Yep. I'm fine. You never have to worry about me. We could also crack that door open, but it's probably going to get hotter outside. I'm sorry, Lori. Yeah. Yes.
So I know that the mics are on, so should I just like speak at a normal volume or should I
Yeah.
like be
Just speak.
quieter?
No, just project your voice.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine. I think the keys are in Gary's office where all he is. He's got a whole rack. I'm ready. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so this will be fine.
Okay.
Go there by your family. I'll bring. Because we can't start without Danny on guitar, so. Yes, you should sit right here. Got everything? Encourage everyone to take a nice deep breath. Breathe in this moment and the presence of one another and just this precious occasion of Shabbat, of Natalie becoming bat mitzvah in front of our very eyes. You know, in the Jewish world, we've all sort of journeyed to the mountainside. The holiday of Shavuot brings us to the mountain. And it's a perfect time for bat mitzvah, Natalie, you know, because here we are gathered in replication of that story that took place thousands of years ago, ready to be inspired and to appreciate and to say the words from our tradition that fill many of us with hope and purpose. And you are the conduit. You are the person who's going to bring all that to us with our musicians, Rabbi Daniel and Leslie and Robert, and all of you, friends and family of Natalie and members of our congregation. Whatever brought you here, I'm glad we're all here together, and I'm glad I'm next to Natalie to make sure that we leave here in a better place even than when we came in. So we always just start by singing. I also want to say that when we were at the mountainside, back in the story, it was the desert, and I know it's getting a little, steamy in here, but we're taking measures, we're working on it. So just be as comfortable as you can, and let the coolness of Natalie, because she's very cool, kind of make us feel like it doesn't matter what the temperature is, because in our hearts and in this sanctuary, everything is just perfect. So let's kind of tune up our voices and sing a melody that has no words. We call it just a nigun is the Hebrew word for melody. It's a spiritual practice, and let's just you'll catch on if you don't know it, if you never heard it. I promise you, by the end of it, every single one of us will be singing, and that's a great way to begin a ceremony, a service, a moment of the heart. You might have noticed that at the very beginning there, Rabbi Daniel did put some words into that melody. But very appropriate words. You know, the holiday of Shavuot is all about what has been and what is being revealed to us. The teachings that are most important and most meaningful. And the words that we sang at the very beginning of that melody were Ve'ahavta le'recha kamocha, which is the commandment to love each other, right? Which, I don't even think I have to say the word arguably, the most significant teaching from the Torah that was revealed, to love one another, right? And that's one of the things we're doing here together as well. So a few things before we launch into the service led by Natalie. I understand there might be some people that don't have the Bat Mitzvah Siddur. Hopefully people can share a little bit. Scott has one. That'll be, yeah. So also, if you'd like, our Siddurim that we use when there's not a Bar Bat Mitzvah have all the same prayers that Natalie's going to be leading. So those are on the bookshelves over by Yana, who is photographing this service. So hopefully everyone will be able to follow along. Natalie is an awesome prayer leader, so she's going to make it easy for you. We're going to start, however, after all that on page 2. This is an opening song, an opening prayer. Our tradition teaches us that when we wake up, we open our eyes, we get ready for the day. One of the first things we're supposed to contemplate, reflect on, commit ourselves to is gratitude. What are we thankful for? What are our blessings? We know there are challenges, we know there are difficulties. In our life, in the life of the world and society, we know all that. But we also know that there are moments and occasions and aspects of life that fill us up. And we have to be thankful and count our blessings. And so it says right there in the prayer, I am grateful. I am thankful. So whatever it is that you're thankful for this morning, especially being here with Natalie, I know that this time of year is very special in terms of Benot Mitzvah for your family, right? Your sister was Bat Mitzvah here just 1 year ago, and this is the time of year too, right, Lori, of your Bat Mitzvah, right? So there's something about the end of May in this family that I think holds the promise for Thanksgiving. And so we're all thankful that you guys chose this time to bring us together through the generations up to now, Modeh Ani, all of us, to find our source of gratitude.
Modeh Ani lefanecha, ruach chai v'kayam, shechazarta b'nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha, Modeh Ani lefanecha, ruach chai v'kayam, shechazarta b'nishmati b'chemla, b'chemla, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha, Rabba emunatecha.
Natalie, we want you to feel the arms of the tradition surrounding you, like we're embracing you as you lead this service and teach us Torah. And it is an absolute pleasure to ask your Nani and Papu, right, to come on up with the talit that you will wear as the prayer leader with its fringes, reminding you of all the sacred deeds that are out there for us to serve one another and do good in this world. Your grandparents are members of this congregation as well, and your papu brings beautiful music to our High Holy Days. So we're so glad you're here as well.
I am so honored to present you with this talit that in 2019, our friend Natalie went to Israel, and your mom asked her to bring home a special talit for you. And she bought this one, so mom's had it in her home for 4 years, and we've been so excited to give it to you. And we're really proud, and I am especially proud to give this to you because when I had my bat mitzvah many years ago, many years ago, girls could not have a talit. So I never had one. So it was such pleasure. I give this to you, and we're so proud of you. And then you know your
Stay right here. Yes, she does. So on page 3, the blessing, because it's a mitzvah to wear those fringes, especially when you're one of the prayer leaders. So lead us in the blessing for those of us who are wearing talesim with your grandparents and that talit from Natalie to Natalie. I like that, like generation to generation, from one Natalie to another. The bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzi.
Amen.
Give him some love. These are the good moments to cherish. They really are. So let's take it slow so that these good and holy moments don't go by too fast. On page 3, 2 songs, 2 passages that have to do with what's good, what's rich, what's holy in life, like this moment.
Together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sha'asani b'tzalmo. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has created me in your image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sha'asani b'chorim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sha'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who provides clothes for the needy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'yaev koach. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who gives strength to the weak. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher heichim mitzadei gaver. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who guides the steps of human beings. Amen. So our congregation has always been a little bit countercultural, counterintuitive. So I say, when things are warm, heat them up. Because on page 5, we have psalms that are meant to be sung and even danced to if you feel like it. These are psalms of joy. There are psalms for moments of sadness, but there are also these psalms that are designed to lift us up, to raise us up. And so, on page 5, a series of psalms. Clap your hands, you can stand up, stomp your feet. Some people might dance. Natalie might herself do a little of that. This is sort of what we call prayers of exaltation, right? So, echad, shtaim, shalosh, which means 1, 2, 3, go. Ready?
Yada da 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 yada da da yada yada da 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 yada da 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 yada da da yada yada da 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 Yoshvei Beitecha Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Oye Haleluya Selah Oye Haleluya Selah Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
many ways to pray. There's silent prayer, there's communal prayer, and then there's get up and move prayer. So hopefully you got your spilkies out, because Natalie is about to lead us in some beautiful prayers. As we make our way through our service, we are on page 6 with the Katsi Kaddish, which is the space between our warm-up from the rest of the service that Natalie will lead.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba Ve'alma divra kirtei v'yamlik malchutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'meru amen Yehi shmei rabba mevorach Ve'olam me'almaya Yisparach v'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shemei dekudesha b'richu Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran be'alma Amen.
There has never been a spiritual awakening in any country or locality that did not begin in united prayer. Please rise as we call each other to prayer with the Baruch Hu. Nothing can dim the light that shines from within. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, osei shalom uvarei et hakol. Hameir la'aretz ve'ladarim aleha barachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai. Kulam bechokma asita mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shavach ma'aseh yadecha v'al me'orei or she'asita yifa'arucha sela. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamorot. Together, you create light and darkness, the possibility of peace within a warring world. All forms and creatures who acknowledge their only common bond in you. You open daily the gates of the east, unlatch the windows of the sky, bring forth the sun from its place, the moon from its abode. The sky, the sun, the moon are far from us, yet their Creator created us, and so their world is ours, their light is ours. Though we must often gather up that light from the dark places where it has fallen,
Bring forth their light, that ours may shine anew. You who have created light are praised.
Self-love is the source of all our other loves.
Prayer says, with a great love, we are loved unconditionally, no matter what. You can feel it.
The Shema teaches us to be connected through prayer, to set aside our differences and be one with God. Please join me in chanting the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם. ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these words which I command you this day. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you arise. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as symbols between your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Remember to do all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your God. I know that we are a people who have crossed many seas. In every service, we remember that the price of freedom is often great as we sing the same words that our ancestors sang after crossing from slavery to freedom at the shores of another sea.
2 songs of freedom and liberation. One from the Torah on page 13, that moment of escape from oppression and slavery. And an update, because there have been freedom songs and liberation songs throughout the ages, including right up to now, in all different languages, all different cultures. You're going to hear a little bit about that from Natalie in a bit. The array of people, all of them striving to be free. And so on page 14, we have another freedom song, this one from South Africa in Zulu, used in the anti-apartheid movement. Another great liberation movement. May there be more to come so that someday all people will be truly free.
Bakodesh, mihi kamocha, baeli Madonna, mihi kamocha, neda bakodesh, nora tehilot, osefele, nora tehilot, osefele, yaira, shirah. Goalenu Adonai Tzevot Shemo Kadosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Gal Yisrael Siyaham Bakukin Yen Kwenkos Siyaham Bakukin Yen Kwenkos Siyaham
We're on page 15.
Please rise. It is in the roots, not the branches, that a tree's greatest strength lies.
we be prepared. Be prepared. Not only to be in sanctuary, but also to be sanctuaries for ourselves, for each other, for the world. These are our highest prayers.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Abraham Ve'Ezrat Sarah. Together. Holy
One
One
of
of
blessing, you are our God, and God of our fathers and mothers, God of Abraham and Sarah, God of Isaac and Rebekah, God of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel, the great God, the mighty God, the supreme God, who responds with acts of loving kindness, who possesses everything, and who, remembering with love the righteous deeds of our parents, brings redemption to the children of their children. Sovereign,
Helper,
Savior, Protector, Holy One of Blessing, Shield of Abraham. And Sarah.
We continue on page 17 with Gevurot, which is spiritual strength. And, you know, Natalie, you've done so much to get ready for this day, right? Like, it's not just the hours of Hebrew school and learning your Torah portion, but also you had to grow as a person to be here today and to lead us in this service and to become a bat mitzvah. And I think the hope of this prayer is that all the things that you learned to get to this moment and all the things you will teach us throughout this service, that they come into reality, that we have more compassion, more loving kindness, more healing in our world. That's what this prayer is all about.
Atah gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia Mechakel chayim bechesed Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim verofei cholim Umatir asurim ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממיט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
Goodness can endure a few moments. Holiness is life-defining.
מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמנו, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה בימיו. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מה אדיר, שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Shabbat is the day we let go of the illusion that we are in control.
Yeah, that's a spiritual practice, right? It is. Some things you just let go. Rabbi Susan always says, let go and let God. And so this is one of those times, just as much as you can. Let it go, let it be spirit, let it be holiness, all the concerns and the discomfort and all of that. Try really hard just to have a moment of true Shabbat Shalom, of true peace and wholeness and rest and goodness and love. That's how we observe Shabbat.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Next prayer is called avodah, which means service. And there's a lot of ways to talk about what serving and service means, but it kind of occurred to me that besides Shavuot, this is the weekend in our country that we commemorate Memorial Day, right? And so those who served, that this is the time, who served at times when I think it's hard for many of us that didn't serve like that, to put ourselves in the places of people who put themselves in harm's way when called. That's service. On Memorial Day, I often certainly think about those who served and lost their lives in wartime, but also those people who served and lost their lives for the cause of peace. And both we have to consider heroes. Those who served our nation and who served the world and who served one another on this Memorial Day, on this Shavuos, on this Shabbat. May we rise to their sacred example.
Together.
You are with us in our prayer, in our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and to do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds our mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service.
Someone else is dreaming about the things you take for granted.
Wow.
We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves.
Shalom within and around. That's our prayer.
Shalom. Tova. Uvracha. Sim shalom. Tova. Uvracha. Sim shalom.
Shalom, salam, shanti, for peace. We all say together, amen. So you've brought us, Natalie, through the prayer service to this pause before we launch into the Torah service, again featuring you. You've done a wonderful job thus far, and I know there is much more to come. But we do pause at this point in the service for a little bit of silent prayer or meditation or reflection. I encourage you to look back through this book that Natalie and her family have really lovingly put together. It's a Siddur, has all the prayers in order, and then it also weaves in some passages that were meaningful to Natalie. And so on page 24, you have an Aesop fable. It's been a while since I've thought about Aesop's fables. So you could read through that and see what lesson it might have for you on this Shabbat. And then the cover, right, a holy place for Natalie and her family, Greece. So you can, if you want, kind of like meditate on the picture and bring yourself to the islands, you know, to the Greek islands. And I know that it's not just the beauty, but it's the culture and it's the memories and the stories that have come before and that are yet to come. Really, it's when you have an attachment like that to a special place beyond your home, you know, St. Louis. But it really is, I've watched all of you, this family, for many years, and all of you, the way you talk about that place, it's holy, it really is. And so lots to occupy yourself or just your own prayers or longings and meditations of your heart. And then we'll come back with another prayer for peace, and then on with the Torah service. So we're going to have a seat and encourage everyone to have some moments of pure rest.
Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Israel, Ve'al Kodesh V'tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. Ve'imru,
Please rise.
As we begin the Torah service, we want to start bringing some people up from Natalie and her family's lives to do the honors that help us in these moments of being able to hear and internalize the words of Torah. So to open the ark, we're going to ask two of Natalie's cousins, Emily and Samantha, to come up. And oh, there they are. You guys have been praying awesome, singing and praying. Come on up. Come on up. And each, you could decide which door is which. Yeah, do that first. Yeah. Aw. And you can open the doors. That was perfect. And if you want, you can take, we have a new parochah screen. You can just kind of gently pull that screen so we can have the Torahs in sight. Perfect. And you guys can have your seat. And the next people we're going to bring up,
Okay. Oh, I thought you said seat here. I'm sorry.
she's like, I want to be in the front row. Those are cool cousins, you guys. I like them. So now we're going to invite up all four of your grandparents, your wonderful grandparents, to come up and join by your mom and dad, and of course your sister Maya. And we're going to kind of put you in, we'll have grandparents come over here. And Natalie, you're going to be right there by your sister as soon as everyone's kind of in formation. And there we go. Wait, where did dog go? Oh, yeah, you guys. I said parents. I know I did. Can't do that without you. All right, I think we're good.
So, Natalie, this is our chance to pass down this really special Torah through the generations of your family. So just take a moment and look at all these wonderful generations that are up here. You're so lucky. You have your grandparents, your parents, your sister. I know we passed this Torah to your sister last year. So before we pass it, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this Torah. This is a Holocaust Torah. This Torah came from Holosov, Czechoslovakia. So in the 1940s, when the Nazis were trying to get rid of all the Jews, they thought they would get rid of all the Jews and put all the artifacts in a museum. and that's how we would understand Jewish life, that we would go to this museum and we would see these Torahs and mezuzahs and these artifacts of Jewish life, and that's how we would learn about it. But we know that that's not exactly how it happened, and so when Czechoslovakia and some of these other communities were liberated, they took all of the artifacts that had been collected and they sent them to different communities to put life back into them. And this is one of those Torahs. We've had it for many years. We always pass it down to our Beit Mitzvah as a sign that we don't want to repeat history, but that we want to give life to this Torah and to these memories. So, Natalie, your Hebrew name is beautiful, Chavaleah. It's after two famous women in the Torah. We have Eve, and we have Leah. And I noticed these are your great-grandmothers, I think, that you were named after? Great-grandparents? Okay, so I know these names are really special to your family and to you, and they are some pretty strong Jewish women in our history, right? Eve and Leah, like they're matriarchs, they're potentially one of the first humans, and so you carry on this amazing name of all these strong women. And I know you have risen to that level, that you own these names, and that you have so much to teach us as becoming a bat mitzvah. So when we pass this Torah down to you, we're passing it through your family, but we're also hoping you'll continue to teach us, that you will bring these strong women, that you will be a strong woman, and that you will teach us more about life and love and help us learn to be better people throughout this journey. And so we're so happy for you, and we're so happy for your family, and so we're going to pass you our tradition.
I'm so sorry.
Natalie's going to come front and center again with, as Rabbi Karen said, the generations behind you, and there's even more beyond them, and there's more ahead of them, right? We are descendants and we are ancestors ultimately. And these are your father's people and your mother's people, and they all gave you Torah. Not necessarily including the Torah, but also their Torah, their stories and their experiences and their wisdom and their love. That's what you've received, and that's what you'll pass on to the future. So with all of that in our hearts and minds and in your heart and mind, this is going to be a time of learning and listening from Natalie as our teacher. And so the words again of the Shema appear at this moment on page 25, because this is us. This is our time to listen to you, and you have so much to offer and so much to say. So please, before we dance and celebrate with the Torah, lead us again in the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
And I know this group here, this gathering, knows how to dance. So this could be another time for you. We ask you to put your books down so your hands are free for clapping. We're going to play some joyful music with our musicians, and make your feet free if you want for dancing again with Natalie and the Torah and her family and this congregation, every single one of you who brings something unique and special to this Shabbat and this bat mitzvah. So, in the words of the ancient Hebrew prophets, it's right there in the Bible, it says, hit it! Dr. John Samet, longtime member of CRC. We went to Israel together back in the early 2000s. And John plays klezmer fiddle, klezmer violin. So before we get ready for hearing words of Torah, let's hear music for our souls.
And the words are, next year when peace will come, you will see, oh, how good it will be next year.
And you could be seated. John. All right. So as you can see, the Torah is stretched out in front of Natalie, in front of us. As I told Natalie when we kind of ran through the service a few times, Natalie's Torah portion is one that's always easy to find. You know, the Torah doesn't always have breaks or paragraphs like, you know, writing we're used to. But there are a few moments in Torah that are just distinct. And we've arrived at this portion called Naso, which you can see on the front of your Siddur, and words that Natalie's chanting on page 27 include, and they're broken out in the text as well, what we call the priestly blessing, the Birkat HaKohanim, which Natalie will talk more about, but it's become a very special blessing in all of the Jewish world. But, you know, CRC has really taken that as a way for us to make sure we hold on to each other and we give each other blessings before we ever depart any service. So it's right there in the Torah. Feels like it's emanating peace right from the scroll. So we are on page 27, and we're going to bring some people back up to the bima to make blessings for this mitzvah, Natalie, that you're doing for us by chanting Torah. I want to recognize your teacher and tutor, Julie Aronson. Where's Julie? And oh, hi, look at you. Hi, Julie. This must have been a fun chavruta, yeah? I for sure. So I know you and Julie worked hard together, and it takes some time and patience and just trust, but also hard work to get to this point where you can read right from the Torah scroll. And it's such a privilege, to be able to hear words like this on Shabbat. Especially, boy, this passage, which really is filled with meaning. So we want to make sure that there are blessings for you, for this mitzvah that you're doing, for the Torah. So we're going to ask up, all four of your grandparents, Ya'amdu, Nama, and Papa, and Miriam, and Yaakov, your grandparents, Aliyah, Litorah, Rishonah. Come on over, you guys. And fill in the space, yep. So first the Hebrew.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Go ahead, you guys. Nama and Papa. Go up to the microphone. Yep, perfect.
Holy One of blessing, your presence fills creation. You called us from all the peoples and gave us your Torah. Holy One of blessings, you give us Torah.
Ready? Go for it.
V'gilach hanazir petach ohel moed et rosh nizro v'lakach et se'ar rosh nizro v'natan al ha'esh asher tachat zevach hashlamim v'lakach HaKohen et Hazroa b'shelah min ha'ayil v'chalat matzah achat min hasal urkik matzah echad v'natan al kapei hanazir achar hitgalcho et nizro Vehenif otam hakohen tenufa lifnei Adonai kodesh hu lakohen al hazeh hatnufa ve'al shok hatruma Ve'achar yishteh hanazir yayin.
Beautiful. And on page 27, the blessing for after the first aliyah.
Baruch hu et Adonai Eloheinu.
Baruch atah Adonai. Yep, Melech Haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Great place.
Holy One of blessing, your presence fills creation. You give us Torah of truth and planted within us eternal life. Holy One of blessing, you give us Torah.
You guys make a good team.
We are a team.
Joining your grandparents up here for the second aliyah, Natalie, are the inner circle. I see them. They're right in front of me. Your parents and your sister. I had the honor, how many years ago, that wedding? 17 and a half years ago of officiating your parents' wedding. I remember it really well. But who knew, what was going to come from that journey? And then your namings and your sister's bat mitzvah, and now here we are, ready to have them all come up so they can make blessings and you can continue chanting so beautifully. Ya'amdu, Doug, V'Rivka, Daphna, Bat Yaakov, V'Miriam, V'Davida, Techia, Bat Doug, V'Rivka, Daphna, Aliyah, Sheni.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Zot Torat Hanazir Asher Yidor Korbano Ladonai Al Nizro Milvad Asher Tasig Yado Kefi Nidro Asher Yidor Kain Yaaseh Al Torat Nizro Vayadaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor Daber El Aharon Ve'el Banav Lemor Ko Tibarchu Et Bnei Yisrael Amor Lachem.
Sing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
All of you. So before Natalie is called up to the Torah, I'll ask your grandparents to turn around and get some dachas from your grandparents and your sister and have them have a seat, but we're going to keep your folks up here. In just a moment, we're going to call Natalie up to the Torah. She's going to get her aliyah, which will make her officially a bat mitzvah. But we wanted Doug and Lori to be right up close and personal. To Natalie, who we're also very proud of. I know sometimes it's hard to believe. Those of you here, and I know there's many of you that have known Natalie like really forever, to see her up here really so beautifully and expertly going through these rituals that are, thousands of years old and reading from this passage. And, what a privilege to hear we're about to hear the words of the Birkat HaKohanim, which is really part of, in traditional services, it's part of every shacharit, every morning service, and here every Shabbat and in every holiday service. Really, since we were in the church across the street, this just has become one of those blessings that just keep us together. Someone wrote me just recently asking for the words of this blessing because they just wanted to make sure they had it. And you're about to read it from it only comes, with all of that, it only comes around once a year in the Torah. And there it is, and we're going to hear you chant it. Not as we recite it at the end of the service, but with the Torah trope that you've learned so beautifully. So it's really a privilege. I gave you this name. I remember naming your sister after your Uncle David of blessed memory, and you, as Rabbi Karen said, after two wonderful great-grandmothers. And so but this time, this is another singular moment where you will be called to the Torah. Rabbi Karen, Rabbi Daniel, I'm so proud of you and impressed by the way you've gone through this journey, and we can't wait to what's to come as you go forward from this bat mitzvah. But right now, you got to finish up this Torah passage and read us those holy words from the priestly blessing. So I'm going to call you to the Torah, which really makes you, when you make these blessings, makes you bat mitzvah, a daughter of this tradition, who I know, going forward into your teenagehood and your adulthood, will bring all this meaningful to you about Judaism into your life with all the other traditions and all the other parts of your life. But I know that you'll bring this tradition, which is so important to you and your family, forward. And so, to call you to the Torah with that beautiful name, Chana Leah. Ta'amod aliyah l'Torah, Chana Leah bat Doug v'Rivka Daphna, aliyah l'Torah, bat ha-mitzvah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. V'samu et shemi al b'nei Yisrael va'ani avarchem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam natan betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Turn around. Yashikoach kol hakavod. Beautiful job. You got it. Yeah, right? Torah is stretched out in front of us, and we just heard the words from Torah, courtesy of Natalie, of Chana Leah in these moments. And so this, in our tradition, after we hear the Torah, it's a time then, because our hearts are so open by this moment that's both ancient and new, we turn our attention to people who need healing. And so we have a healing prayer that's written into the Torah service. It's on page 28. And I encourage everybody. I know that we all have people in our lives that could use healing. Healing of mind, body, and spirit. We've got a whole list of people we pray for daily and on Shabbat. I know there's people in this very sanctuary who could use the benefits of the healing prayer, which is really just, it's a reminder to us to be angels of healing in whatever way we can, as medical professionals, as friends, as people who care and have compassion. Let's sing this healing prayer for all those who are suffering, all those who are ill, all those who need healing right here, right now. Think of them and feel their presence and send them everything we have. At the bottom of the page is the Chatima, part of the prayer we believe seals it, makes us determined to do whatever we can. Baruch Atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim, blessed is the Holy One whose presence fills creation, who teaches us ways to bring healing to those who are ill. And we say, Amen.
So, Natalie, that was beautiful, first of all. That was outstanding. We continue with a little bit of more Natalie on page 29 for our Haftorah reading. This is a portion taken outside of the Torah that complements some of the themes that Natalie already read in our Torah portion.
The famous story of Samson, by the way, right? So, whenever Samson comes around, I kind of cover my hair up. So that people will leave it alone. Go for it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar binviim tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hanaemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Habocher baTorah, uv Moshe avdo, uv Yisrael amo, uvin v'yei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayehi ish echad mitzorah mimishpachat hadani ushmo manoach vishto akara velo yalada vayera malach Adonai el ha'isha vayomer eleha hinena atakara velo yalat veharit veolat bein ve'ata hishamri na ve'al tishti yain ve'shechar ve'al tochlin kol tamei ki hinach hara ve'olat bein umora lo ya'ale al rosho ki nazir Elohim yehiyeh hana'ar min habaten vehu yachel lehoshia et Yisrael miad pelishtim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el hana'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber umkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al hanve'im ve'al yom hashabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha ve'limnucha lechavod utifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach Yitbarach Shimcha befi kol hai, tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
All right, deep breath. Beautiful. Kol hakavod. That was a good one. Every breath is holy and fills you up with renewal. So Natalie has what's called a Devar Torah, a commentary that she has written and prepared over many weeks and months. What this means to her, and what she hoped all of this means to all of you.
At Central Reform Congregation, Rabbi Randy requests that we read the translation of our Torah portion to better understand what we just chanted from the Torah scroll itself. In my portion, Naso, the Israelites are starting to form their society and create rules for their people. An important theme in being Naso is being a Nazirite. Nazirites were people that took a vow that obligated them to be especially devoted to God and Judaism. Something special about becoming a Nazirite was that anyone could do so. It didn't matter your gender, age, or tribe, anyone could be a Nazirite. As I was reading Naso, I noticed how there were tribes that played a specific role in the society of ancient Israel. The tribes were like a family, and each tribe was named after one of the sons and or grandsons of Jacob. For example, one of Jacob's sons was named Levi, and a tribe was called the Levites after Levi. Levi had 3 sons, Kohath, Gershon, and Merari. In their names, the Gershonites, Kohathites, and Merarites were formed. In thinking about what tribe means, a special group of people who join together, linked by backgrounds, beliefs, values, and culture. Tribes can serve both positive and negative purposes. As I read the translation of Naso, I noticed how the tribes in Naso were more than just a group. They were an identity that separated everyone. For centuries, we've seen how the formation of tribes can be discriminatory. It forms a group that only certain people can join, and it can exclude everyone else. In my portion, Nazirites are often mentioned. They were not an official tribe, just a group, and each person who became a Nazirite was still a member of their original tribe. In the time of ancient Israel, the Nazarites took a vow of purity and holiness, therefore they had to go through a long process to become a Nazarite. They were definitely role models, but Nazarites also could let this part of their identity exclude them from their everyday life and the outside world. And even though the Nazarites existed apart from the tribal system, it seems that they might fall into the tribal trap because when they get too attached to their group, they can start to change their message from something positive to a more negative and exclusionary attitude. However, tribes can also be helpful and reasonable. They can give us something to believe in and people to rely on when we're going through a difficult time. Tribes provide us with a sense of community and surround us with people of similar backgrounds, ethnicities, and values. In the original 12 tribes named after Jacob's sons and grandsons, the tribes all had many symbols that set them apart. Each tribe had an animal that represented it, a flag, and some even had a flower or stone to represent it. That can be good because it gives members of that group something to display and wear proudly. However, this has the potential to put us into exclusive groups. Tribes and tribalism are still very prominent in the modern world. Religion, political affiliation, and even school cliques and friend groups are examples of tribes. People will let their political views define them as a person and place them in a selective group. So even today, tribes continue to propel our society and people are still drawn to them. As I conclude my commentary, I would like to think about the tribes that I want to be a part of in the future. Throughout the process of preparing for my bat mitzvah, I've realized how much I enjoy being a part of the tribe of Judaism, and I feel a sense of connection to Jewish people all around the world. However, I don't want it to become an exclusive part of my identity, and I recognize that even today in this room, there are people of many different tribes. There are Hindu, Christian, atheist, and Jewish people, Democrats and Republicans, and more tribes beyond that. And while it's great that our tribes give us a sense of community, identity, and belonging, it's important that we don't perceive our tribes as superior and exclude others. The priestly blessing is another well-known aspect of Naso. At every service at Central Reformed Congregation, we put our arms around each other and say the priestly blessing for everyone here in this space. You don't have to be a member of CRC or even be Jewish to receive the message that is spread through this blessing. Like the Nazarites, people of all tribes can participate. So as I end my commentary, I would like to leave you with the words of the priestly blessing. May God bless you and keep you. May God shine their face on you and be gracious to you. May God turn their face towards you and give you peace.
I am stunned at your wisdom. Wasn't that amazing? I think it's a Torah we all need to hear, right? Because our tribes can be such sources of comfort and of home and of support, but they can also be such sources of chauvinism and cause us to other and not see the humanity of each other. So I'm going to hold on to your words. I think all of us are going to hold on to your words. So, one of my very favorite parts of getting to do the music for the B'nai Mitzvahs is that I get to look over and see the sisters and the brothers and the siblings of the B'nai Mitzvah students making faces at them. So I want to say, Maya, you have been so well behaved. Your parents, for those who haven't seen, it's amazing, the dancing and the face making and because one thing that is a part of your family, I have seen it with every member of your family, is the joy that you all bring to life. When you look at the Torah, you look at the Nazarites, and the Torah is very clear. The Nazarites are a moral neutral. It's not even a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just another way of being. It's an ascetic approach to life. It's an approach that says sometimes there is spiritually moving stuff waiting for us when we don't partake of the pleasures. But the rabbis, the rabbinic tradition looks at the Nazarites and says that these are evil people. And they say that they are evil people because they're refusing to take a bite of the sweet fruits that are around us. In fact, there's a midrash that says when we die and we go up to whatever comes next, that God is going to hold us to account for all of the ripe fruits that we refuse to take a bite of. So this is my wish for you. It is my hope for you. It is my blessing for you, that there be so many sweet fruits ahead of you in your life, that you always have a community and a tribe that is there to support you, that is there to call you to grow and be the best version of yourself. And that whatever is to come, and wherever this amazing journey of life takes you, that whenever you see those fruits, that you grab them, you take a bite, and you make sure that you are enjoying the joys of this world. We love you. Mazel tov. Can I give you a hug?
Thank you, Rabbi Daniel, and there's more blessings to come because you deserve them on this day and beyond. So this is, well, you know who this is. This is another Natalie. This is the Natalie of the Talit, Natalie Schatzman, who is the president of our board of directors at this synagogue, but also, I know, a dear, dear family friend. And so there is, that's all your stuff.
Got some gifts and a little something to say to you. Okay, like this. Thank you. Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations. CRC is proud to present you both this certificate, which says your bat mitzvah, but also a gift that 2 trees have been planted in your honor. You probably have heard this story many times from your sister, but it's important to know that the 2 trees being planted in your honor in Israel, one in a primarily Jewish neighborhood, another one in a majority Arab neighborhood, and that they may grow and create this atmosphere of peace. And the hope is that one day you'll travel to Israel and you'll see the beautiful fruits of that and more peace to come. So, Mazel tov. There's also a tzedakah box, which you're very familiar with, giving from your heart. And keep this on your counter, throw your spare change in, and remember that's, part of your mission is to give back. So that is a gift from the congregation. I can give it to Rabbi Randy. But I've got a little something to share with you too, that we not only share a name, we've always had a fun time about this big Nat, little Nat, but you're kind of like on the same height as I am, and I'm wearing flats. But I also, your Devar, talking about tribes. I have been welcomed in by your family's tribe since day one. You are a big part of my Jewish journey, and I've been enjoying just growing alongside of you. And I hope that we'll have many moments like this to share, like intimate, great moments together. And thank you for teaching us, and thank you for welcoming me into your home. So, love you.
Thank you, Natalie. Yeah. I just wanted to, I thought I would, deliver to you the priestly blessing, a one-on-one priestly blessing, right? Because the priestly blessing is communal, which is perfect for a congregation, but I wanted to give it to you. But then I looked at it, and it's in masculine language in the singular. So I said, I could give Natalie the feminine version of the priestly blessing. But then I said, no, there's a post-tribal version of the priestly blessing. It's in the wonderful Book of Blessings by Marcia Falk, who's sort of a modern liturgist. She writes Jewish prayer for the post-tribal age. So this is the blessing for you. Yishru shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim b'neinu bein kol adot Yisrael uvein kol yoshvei tevel. May the blessings of peace, kindness, graciousness, goodness, and compassion flow among you, Natalie, Hannah, Leah, and among us all, among all the communities of the Jewish people. And may those blessings transcend tribes and flow among all the peoples of the world. Amen. With that purple talit embracing you, this blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Blessed is the Holy One whose presence fills creation. You gave us our lives, and you kept us alive, and you brought us, and especially you, Natalie, to Lazman Hazeh, to this special, wonderful, holy moment in your life, in your friends, family, community's life, and I believe this moment of you becoming bat mitzvah means it's a blessing in the whole world's life. The world's a better place because you are part of it, and let us say, Amen. So we're kind of winding towards the conclusion here, but we want to put the Torah away. I want to bring up two more cousins of Natalie, Jake and Lillian, to help to open the doors of the Ark. And we're going to have, you might have missed it, you were dancing, but the Anadkat family, Milan and Jagu and Bella and Leela, helped get the Torah ready to be read. Now they're going to come up and help get the Torah ready to be put back in the Ark. So come on up. And Natalie, everyone is sitting. They should be standing, so please tell them to.
Please rise.
Page 31, Torah, a tree of life. So while there's hugs all around up here, we're going to turn our attention to page 32 as Rabbi Karen and Natalie and I face the same direction. You're facing east towards the Ark, towards Jerusalem, towards hope for peace, and that all these prayers will find their way to heal some of the brokenness in the world. Aleinu l'shabeach. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon HaKol. V'teikenu la b'yotzer b'reishit. Shalom asadu k'goyei haratzot. V'lo samanu b'mishpachot ha'adama. Shalom samchakinu kahen. V'goralenu k'cho'amam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim Livnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'na'emar V'haya Adonai L'melech HaKol ha'aretz V'yom Bahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'shemo
Please be seated.
So for our closing blessings and hearing from your parents, we do have some moments to share of remembrance. Yes, of course, Kaddish. It's time for the mourners Kaddish and to hear names of people we love. But it's also in the traditional Jewish calendar, Yizkor, which is observed on the second day of Shavuot. And so since we have people here who kind of lean into that part, you could do it yesterday, but we thought it would be nice when we had a whole congregation inspired by Natalie to have our Yizkor remembrances for Shavuot today on this Shabbat, this bat mitzvah. So we're going to start with Natalie and her family's remembrances, and then we're going to ask anyone that's in the congregation to stand and say names of people you're remembering, whether it is you're in a period of Shiva or in your year of mourning. And then we're going to all stand together because I'm going to read our whole list of names of people who we are remembering on this Shabbat, on this Yizkor, people from our congregation and people who people in our congregation are mourning themselves. So just to kind of get everyone prepared for a lot of holy names of people who graced our planet, starting, Natalie, with your loved ones.
Today we take a moment to remember my Nana Eve and Nana Lenore, after whom I am named. We welcome everyone here to take this time to remember any loved one who is no longer with us today. May their memory be an eternal blessing.
And now, thank you, thinking about them. And now we ask that anyone else that is here to stand. You want to hear the names of who you're remembering. And I know, and we'll start right over here. Thank you. Yep. You can stay standing if you want. We'll all join you in a bit. Yes. That's okay. You know what? If the names are sacred to you too, you should say them. Thank you. A blessed memory. And Amy. Yeah. For Zadie, Norman Gordon, Zikrino. And then back. We remember him. And your wonderful mom and your wonderful dad. Thank you. Larry. For your father, may his memory be a blessing. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, thank you, yeah. May their memories be a blessing. Michael, come on up, Michael. This is Michael from our stream room. Do you have names? You know what, while Michael's getting those names, why don't we have everyone stand together? Leslie, did you have names you wanted to add? I probably have them. Okay, so I'm going to read these names. First will be the names of people who have died this past year, who we've been saying Kaddish for. And then the yardzites for this time. And then we'll say, we're going to hear the special memorial prayer that we hear at funeral services, but also at Yizkor services. So here are the names. Raphael Schwartz and Matthew Blickenstaff, and Beverly McWilliams, Marjorie Shepard, Sue Smith, Dr. Moisey Shopper, Stephanie Buchler, Carrie James, Lila Rosenblum, George Spooner, Marsha Wolfsey, Harriet Phyllis Zimmerman, Leah Larson, Francis Rothschild, Gary Weil, Sheila Bass, Marcy Horwitz, Sarah Doris Willick, Harry Prince, Jerome Maydall, Ben Neiman, Jay Summer, Bobby Sparks, Lois Loomstein, Saif Weissman, Anita Sue Fine, Kathy Lass, Ann Epstein, Eugene Scarl, Claude Lewis, Joyce Steinberg, Harvey Fenster, Maurice Guller, Gloria Sirkin, Janet Cunningham, Bert Newman, David Adelstein, Lois Chait, Nikki Nymark, Marta Vainberg, Jerron Rogers, Stuart Milner, Sandy Lichterman, Chuck Zerfus, Bruce Schneider, Susan Fadum, Patty Twellman, Verabon Croft, Daniel Williams, Mindy Kaiser, Paul Schumer, Bear Robinson, Sydney Wolf, Roberta Craven, Ruth Rosenberg, Suzanne Weintraub, Burton Garland, Bill Weiner, Larry Mange, Jim Rosenbaum, Ann Mays, Miriam Fields, David Kaskowitz, Leslie Wayne Duncan, Bill Levinson, Harley Evergreen King, Sylvia Ginsparg, and the art sites. Harry Levinson, Carlene Rose, Ned White, Rosalind May Meyer, and Todd Epston. Arlen Cadams, Eugene Larson, Gertrude Nicholson, Hannah Padower, June Stubb, Marcus Michaels, Ann Barbara Schifrin, David Hubert, May Kramer, Roy Henry Bass, Norman Gordon, Ronald Alter, Sylvia Ginsparg, Alan Schiff, Bert Bogner, Eddie Berg, Dr. Eddie Berg, Eleanor Dick, Ephraim Zuhl, Leo Samet, Mason Hollefeld, Dorothy Edelman, Estelle Kletnick, Fran Hyman, Henry Rosenberg, Marvin Koski, Robert Mass, Samuel Howard Block, and David Bronson. So, is Michael? No? Okay. Well, I know there's people who are typing names on the chat, and we're thinking about those names as well. Therefore, it's appropriate now to say these traditional words of Yizkor. Yizkor Elohim Nishmat Yakerai. Leslie will sing El Malei Rachamim.
El Malei Rachamim Shochen Bamromim Am Seib Nuchanuchana Tachat Confeshina Im Kedushim Dorim Kazor Haraki Amazirim Et Nizmor Leolamim Shahalacha Leolamo Barachamim Yastirihu Besetekana Pav Leolamim Vitzror Hachayim et Nishmato Adonai hu nachlato v'tanuach b'shalom b'shalom al mishkavo
We remember them all. We remember your Uncle David, who I know is such an important part of your family and your story. All those that we remember on Memorial Day on pages 34 and 35. Our way of remembering as a community, Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon v'yom echon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'gala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh, B'yit hadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru. Amen.
Say shalom b'mroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Oh, say shalom b'mroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
Please be seated just for a few moments. Zikronam livracha, may all of their memories be a blessing. But we shift again, as we do in life, as we do in our service. But we want to make sure that you hear the words in the immediate aftermath of you becoming bat mitzvah from your mom and dad. So it's your turn. So come on up, Doug and Lori, to give blessings to your wonderful daughter.
Can you believe you are finally here? All those years of Saturday morning classes, and before that, coming to family service with Rabbi Randy leading us in song with his guitar. You would sit on my lap and I would toss you in the air during Modeh Ani. I have some fond memories with you from those days. Oh, it's getting dusty. Since then, you've been growing up before my very eyes, and I have loved being your dad. You are a thoughtful, kind, and easygoing person, and I enjoy our time together on the drive home from school. So you can catch me up on your day. I offer you a snack from the center console, and you tell me about some current drama, how challenging your PE workout was, or what you did in Mr. Kaminsky's class. I am so proud of the student you have become through hard work and dedication time to homework. A parent couldn't ask for better habits for success. I have no doubt you will accomplish what you set your mind to. I'm excited for you to start the next chapter of your life. You will be faced with many new opportunities to make new friends, learn about new subjects, and have new adventures. It may be scary at first, but with your laid-back personality, creative imagination, and dry wit, you are well prepared for the journey. If you come to a place where you need someone, I will be here, ready to help, or listen, or just hold on tight. I love you.
All right, Natalie Lenore, you were named after one of my favorite people in the world, my Nana Nor. Oh gosh, okay. Nana's last words that she ever spoke was when she said Mazel Tov when she found out I was pregnant. So you two have always had a connection, and I hope that you carry on her legacy of love, bringing family together, having a Jewish home, and making a good brisket. You also have something that I enjoyed with her as well, and that is a closeness to your grandmothers. Just like Nana Nor taught me to always travel with a mini sewing kit and how to tie a square knot, there are lessons to be learned from your two wonderful grandmothers. I love hearing the impressions that they have on you, the small lessons that they instill in you, how Nama taught you to use the wrapper from a stick of butter to grease the inside of the pans, and Nani taught you tricks about applying makeup. When you were named after Nana Nor and Nana Eve, we gathered here in this very sanctuary to give you their Hebrew names. There's a picture on the back to prove it. Everyone here that day wrote a blessing for you on a piece of paper. We sealed those up, and they have been in this envelope for 12 and a half years. They're here for you to read after today, now that you are a bat mitzvah. When I took time to reflect on qualities about you that I admire, I realized that so much of who you are as a person is centered around the fact that you are so thoughtful and considerate. From the time you were a toddler and you would get a free cookie at the grocery store, every time you would ask, should we get one for Maya too? And even just the other day, when I picked you up and I had a special treat of a bag of chips for you in the car, you immediately asked if you should save half for Maya, even though it was just a small single-serving bag. You always think to include others and accommodate others, even if it means something becomes inconvenient for you. Indeed, times when I have been judgmental of somebody, like I've commented about someone's hairstyle I don't like, or mentioned I don't like that someone said X, Y, and Z, you remind me to consider their circumstance or their point of view. You aren't challenging or argumentative about it. You just have a quality about you that truly considers others. You also have a seriousness, a sophistication, and a maturity about you that I admire. We see this in all aspects of you, from the foods you eat to the books you read, and all choices in between. You are probably the only 12-year-old I know who loves sardines and olives. In fact, when you were only 5, your dad said that one day you would be his future Scotch drinking buddy. Similarly, I remember being blown away that you wanted to read To Kill a Mockingbird when you were in the 5th grade. At only 11 years old, and it became your favorite novel, and you really got it. You understood the heart of the story. You really understood the racism and the injustice, and you were bothered by those themes. So, my dear Natalie Lenore, my blessing for you is that you remain the thoughtful and considerate person who you are, that you tackle your life and the world with seriousness and maturity, and that you continue to fight against injustice. As Atticus said to Scout in To Kill a Mockingbird, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. At only 12, you seem to already know this. You are on your way to becoming an amazing young person, and all of us in this room are fortunate to have you in our circle. I love you.
So I'm gonna, Maya, come join this group hug thing. Come on. Wanted to mention that in the back of Natalie's book, she lists some of the projects we did together with the 7th grade class on page 38, spending our year volunteering and doing mitzvahs, and we're coming to the end of, these guys are 8th graders now. We got Miles, right, coming up in 2 weeks from today, and that's really, then we got our rising 7th graders. I see Harry, that class is coming up, and just such a privilege to get to know these amazing young people and do mitzvahs with them. So, do you want me to take your job, or do you want to do it? Please, what do you want to do it? Why don't you do it? Yeah, go for it. Come on, one more time. Everyone should.
Please rise.
That's right. Here it is. Go ahead, Rabbi Karen will lead us in Kiddush.
Just to add a little more sweetness and some first fruits to this moment for you, we say a blessing over wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Chaim is right.
You sound so disappointed.
It's juice.
It's only grape juice, apparently.
Thanks to Mariah, there's grape juice. That's all I gotta say. This challah is a CRC. We're back to making challahs, people. Freda's recipe, and we've got wonderful volunteers who make challah every, whenever they want to, and then it becomes ours to celebrate, especially at moments like this. And the challah signifies that we have enough not only for ourselves, but to share. So you are all invited to stay. There's an oneg out in the oneg room, appropriately so, with lots of wonderful stacks and dishes. So before you go home and take all the spiritual nourishment with you, you can also take some physical nourishment as well. But first we have to make this blessing, right, for gratitude. I bet you'll share some with your sister. It just sounds like that's sort of the gestalt that goes in your family, right? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Go have that bite. Probably hungry. There you go. Here you go, guys. Take a little piece. Then we're gonna, man, Natalie set us up so well for this moment. This is the priestly blessing. It's right in your Sidurim there, it's in every prayer book we put together. On page 37, these are the words that you heard from the Torah scroll. Words that are now really they're ours, to make sure we don't leave each other's company without saying words of peace and love. So it's our custom, as Natalie told us in her Devar Torah, to put our arms around each other, arms around our newest bat mitzvah. Look at this. Look at this group. All your tribes are awesome. There's not one that's better than the other. Man, that's your Torah, Natalie. Right? So whoever you are, wherever you're from, whatever brought you here, we are one. Through all of our differences, one. That's what it's all about. So, these are huge words. You've made them even larger. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless and keep each and every single one of you, now and always. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
And may you take some of the light and love that you have brought to this room, and may we all take some of the light and love into our world and make it a better place.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And Natalie, for you and for all of us, may we live the sorts of lives that we get to have a moment like watching your grandma watch your mom give you a blessing. I'm going to hold on to that one. Amen.
Amen. And Shabbat Shalom. And Mazel Tov to Natalie.
Thank you.